long ago, in a quiet village surrounded by thick forests and mist-covered hills, there lived a kind young man named Daniel. He was respected by everyone for his honesty and gentle heart. Although many young women admired him, Daniel had never found someone he truly wanted to spend his life with. One rainy evening, while returning home from the market, Daniel noticed a young woman sitting alone beneath a large tree. Her clothes were soaked, and she looked frightened. Feeling sorry for her, he asked if she needed help. The woman introduced herself as Lily. She claimed she had lost her family while traveling through the forest and had nowhere to go. Daniel couldn't leave her alone in the cold, so he brought her to his small house and offered her food and a warm place to sleep. Days turned into weeks, and Lily never stopped showing kindness. She cleaned the house before Daniel woke up, cooked delicious meals, and cared for him whenever he became tired or ill. The villagers were amazed by her gentle nature. They often whispered that Daniel had been blessed by fate. Before long, Daniel fell deeply in love with her, and they were married in a simple ceremony attended by the entire village. Everyone celebrated their happiness, believing they were the perfect couple. For several months, life was peaceful. Every morning, Lily greeted Daniel with a smile, and every evening they shared stories by the fireplace. Daniel often thanked the heavens for bringing such a wonderful woman into his life. But as time passed, Daniel began noticing something strange. Every single night, just before the village clock struck 10, Lily became unusually quiet. She would stop whatever she was doing, stare toward the dark forest beyond their window, and her cheerful smile would slowly disappear. One evening, she held Daniel's hands tightly and spoke in a trembling voice. "My husband, there is one promise I need you to make." Daniel smiled and nodded. "Anything. No matter what happens after the moon rises, never follow me. Never look for me. And no matter what sounds you hear, do not come near me until morning." Daniel laughed softly, thinking she was joking. But Lily's face remained serious. "If you truly love me, you must trust me." Although confused, Daniel agreed. That night, as the moon climbed high into the sky, Lily quietly left the house and disappeared into the darkness beyond the trees. Daniel watched from the doorway until she was no longer visible. Minutes later, a strange howl echoed through the forest. It was unlike any animal Daniel had ever heard. The sound was followed by another, and another, until the entire forest seemed alive with terrifying cries. Daniel's heart pounded. He wanted to run after his wife, but he remembered the promise he had made. He stayed inside until sunrise. When morning finally came, Lily returned home carrying a basket filled with fresh fruits and herbs, smiling as though nothing unusual had happened. Daniel wanted to ask where she had gone, but each time he looked into her eyes, something stopped him. It was as though she was hiding a sorrow too painful to speak about. Still, the mysterious sounds from the forest continued every night, growing louder and stranger with each passing evening. Daniel tried to convince himself there was a simple explanation. But deep inside, he feared that the woman he loved might be hiding a secret beyond anything a human could imagine. Little did he know that before the next full moon, his curiosity would lead him to witness a truth that would change his life forever. After the strange cries from the forest continued night after night, Daniel could no longer find peace. Every evening, just before the moon rose, Lily would become silent. She would leave their home without saying a word and disappear into the darkness, only to return at dawn with a tired smile, as though nothing had happened. Daniel kept the promise he had made, but his heart grew heavier with each passing day. The villagers soon began to notice the strange changes in him. One afternoon, while Daniel was buying food at the village market, an old man called him aside. The old man was the oldest person in the village and was known for his wisdom. "My son," the old man said, "your eyes carry fear. Tell me what troubles you." Daniel hesitated, but he finally spoke. "My wife leaves every night and returns before sunrise. I hear terrible cries from the forest, but she refuses to tell me where she goes." The old man's face suddenly lost its color. He remained silent for a long moment before speaking. "Some secrets are meant to stay buried. If your wife warned you not to follow her, then listen to her. Daniel frowned. But what if she is in danger? The old man slowly shook his head. Sometimes the danger is not what you think. Daniel left without another word. That evening, Lily prepared dinner as usual, but she barely ate. She looked toward the window again and again, watching the sun disappear behind the hills. Before leaving, she held Daniel's hand. Please, trust me for just a little longer. Daniel forced a smile. I promise. But for the first time since they were married, he intended to break that promise. As soon as Lily disappeared into the forest, Daniel quietly followed her from a distance. The moonlight barely reached the ground through the thick trees. Strange insects chirped from every direction, and the deeper he walked, the colder the air became. Daniel could see Lily walking ahead of him. She never looked back. After nearly an hour, she arrived at a place unlike anything Daniel had ever seen. In the middle of the forest stood an enormous ancient tree. Its roots spread across the earth like giant snakes, and glowing blue flowers surrounded its trunk. Lily stepped into a circle made of smooth black stones. She knelt on the ground and whispered words Daniel could not understand. Suddenly, a powerful wind swept through the forest. The trees began to shake violently. The moonlight grew brighter. Daniel watched in horror as a thick silver mist surrounded Lily. Her body slowly disappeared inside the mist. A loud cry echoed through the forest. Daniel covered his mouth to stop himself from screaming. The mist slowly faded. Standing where Lily had been was no ordinary woman. A magnificent white fox with 9 long tails stood beneath the ancient tree. Its fur shone like moonlight, and its glowing golden eyes searched the darkness. Daniel's heart nearly stopped. He realized the creature was Lily. She was not attacking anyone. She simply stood beneath the tree, looking toward the moon as though she were carrying a heavy curse. Then something unexpected happened. Dark shadows emerged from the forest. They looked like human beings, but their eyes burned red, and their bodies were covered in smoke. The white fox growled softly. Without warning, the shadow creatures rushed toward her. A fierce battle began beneath the ancient tree. The fox moved with incredible speed, protecting the glowing flowers around the tree while the shadow creatures tried to destroy them. Daniel watched in complete disbelief. The woman he loved was risking her life every night, not to harm people, but to protect something ancient and sacred. Just as he stepped closer for a better look, a dry branch snapped beneath his foot. The sound echoed through the silent forest. The white fox stopped fighting. Slowly, it turned its glowing golden eyes toward Daniel. For a moment, the entire forest became silent. Lily had discovered that her husband had broken his promise. Far away, the shadow creatures began to smile. One of them whispered in a deep, chilling voice. Now, he knows. Daniel has finally crossed a line that can never be undone. But the truth waiting for him is far more terrifying than he could ever imagine. What happens next will change his life forever. Don't miss episode 2. Subscribe now and turn on notifications, you won't want to miss what's coming.